Okay, hi everyone, welcome to another session of Webinar Wednesday. Today is our last session for GoPro November. It's the end of the month already. And today we will be covering on business space. So business space, it's a broad term. We will touch a little bit on commercial, which comprises, if you further zoom down on the different subtypes, you can actually zoom into office, shophouses, and even medical. Okay, and of course, if you're looking at industrial, it can be either the factory or warehouse. Of course, while I was doing my little bit of homework with the market trends for all these different types and subtypes, I do notice that if you're looking at volume for factory and warehouse, actually warehouse very little only, because I was looking at the chart. Later I'll show you as well. I was mousing over the chart and I realized that in terms of percentage, it's almost like 0 or 1% versus 100% of factories. So actually a very small amount are warehouses. But something interesting is that maybe I'll share a little bit later on that lah. Okay, don't jump the gun a little bit. Okay, now, so thank you for joining us today. I see two very proactive people on the live chat already. We have Stephen and Jess. Hi. Okay, and then of course with us we have our account manager Sherry. So we always have one person or a few of our account managers on board with us every time we do training, so that in case I'm too busy, too engrossed in my training, and you guys ask questions, there's still someone to help me answer. Okay, so without further ado, firstly, a quick disclaimer. Sometimes it's how I interpret it, but you may actually interpret the information a bit differently. Okay, and of course, the accuracy of the content. And okay, so for those of you who are new to us, we actually have three account managers, Celeste, Zuki, and Sherry. They are in charge of your different agencies. So you can see on the screen right now, depending on which agency you are from, you should be looking for your respective account managers. They would be the best person for you to reach out to, not just for signing up or renewing, but also if you need any form of help. Maybe, I need to get this kind of info, which tool should I be using, or if you come across any technical issues, they would also be able to assist you. Okay, of course, sometimes they may be busy, so if you're looking for an alternative contact number, we do have a office hotline, okay, on the top left hand corner of the screen, which you can reach us during office hours. There's also a office WhatsApp, okay, just in case you need to send us screenshots or videos. It'll be easier to convey the message that you like to send us to, or maybe we can it's easier for us to guide you. Okay, so of course this would be during office hours, 9 to 5. Thereafter, your account managers will probably still be the best person for you to look for. Okay, now just to make sure all of you do not miss this deal that we have, that is available until the end of the year, is that when you sign up with us, okay, so we actually have two packages in case you don't know. One of it is our all-time favorite, which is called Pro Tools, which allows you to access all the different analytical tools. So if you're trying to do reports, you're trying to do comparison, all these would actually fall under Pro Tools, okay? And we have another one which is called Prop Points, which is focused on generating leads, okay? So it can be leads, pushing leads to your listings when we do our own marketing on the different social media, Google, and all that. And then, of course, you can also exchange your points for leads that come in via FSBO, or it could also be featured inquiries. So featured inquiries are buyer tenant leads, and FSBO will be for sale or for rent by owner, so owner listings. So anything relating to getting leads, you should be purchasing prop points, and anything with relation to generating reports, charts, things that can help you analyze the market and convince your client, where should they buy, what should they buy or sell. Okay, that would be Pro Tools. So this time round, at the end of the year, what we are proposing, okay, two deals that you can opt for, okay. One of it is to buy both of them, okay, at $599. Okay, so you get 1 year of Pro Tools and 1,000 prop points, and that's $599. And then if you already have Pro Tools, you can actually get prop points, which is going at 410 for 1,000 points. Okay, regardless which deal you go for, we are actually throwing in a free virtual tour. So do take note, because we do have another product, okay, or another feature that we have within your listings that allows you to do your own virtual tour. That is your DIY virtual tour that most of you would probably just need your smartphone, okay. But this virtual tour that we are giving you is actually a professional crew shoot with our cameraman and videographer going down to your property, okay, your listing, to do the virtual tour for you with a Matterport camera. So Matterport is actually one of the more well-known providers that actually do virtual tours. So it is really very professional looking, okay. So you can choose any property. Yes, I have people asking me, GCB can or not? Yes, can. Okay, so of course you would want to utilize, like, if you have a very nice listing for sale, this would come in really useful and handy for you. Okay, of course we do take only the interior lah. Okay, and then of course if you want to know a little bit more on this that we are providing, check with your account managers. Today we are doing training. Okay, so I don't want to do any more sales talk here. Okay, check with your account managers. Now, another thing is we actually just came up with this WhatsApp for agents. So previously we had trying to get connected with you guys via Facebook, Telegram, but we do notice that agents generally still use WhatsApp most often. Okay, even from our day-to-day life, WhatsApp is really the place to go. So I think that is why we actually came up with this. So if you want to stay updated with EdgeProp, you should, right? Okay, remember to add us as a contact in your contact book, okay, on your phone, so that you can receive updates from us. Okay, so just scan the QR code. You can add our number in directly. Okay, so anytime there's a new promo or any updates, you will get it via WhatsApp. Okay, of course, for those of you who still prefer the other means, okay, we also still hang on to our Facebook and Telegram. Okay, so this is the Facebook group. If you want to stay connected with us via Facebook, okay, so you can look for the EdgeProp Agent Facebook group. Okay, and then also we have for Telegram as well. Yeah, but I do think since we have the WhatsApp now, it will be WhatsApp and Facebook should be the main two means of staying connected with us. Okay. Now also, I wanted to share this new product that we have that we launched sometime during the circuit breaker. Okay, not so new anymore, but very useful if you are a content creator. Okay, what kind of content? We're looking at videos here. So as long as you have your own property videos, with regards to maybe you do a video for your listing, okay, introducing a listing, or it could be a educational video on how to invest, or what things to look out for when buying or selling a property, or it could even be interior design. So anything related to property, okay, you should actually join us on EdgePropcast. We will actually host your videos on our web page. Okay, of course. So as long as your videos are on YouTube or Facebook, we'll be able to have them featured on EdgePropcast. Okay, so if you need more details, you can register with us. Okay, or you can reach out to our colleague here. Okay, and the number is 94529197. Notice the T and C kind of blocked it, but yeah, okay. So now back to today proper. I just realized my face is so big because I'm like looking at the screen. Okay, so today we are covering business space, and this is one of the. I'll start with an overall of how the business space has been performing in the last 25 years. So as early as 1995, you will be able to get information, or you will be able to generate market trend charts, price and volume charts from the tool called Market Trends. Okay, so over here you can see that there's a timeline 1995 to 2020, so you can actually set the time period, and I have selected to look at it on a year-to-year basis. Okay, of course you can also play around with monthly or quarterly. Okay, and on the right hand top corner you can see that I'm actually doing a comparison. So therefore I have two lines. One is comparing commercial, all types of commercial versus all types of industrial. Okay, and then of course you can see all the different filters. Later I will show you how you can create your own charts, or you can further customize your charts based on your own preference, or based on what exactly you are looking for. Okay, but based on this, you can see that from 1995 to 2020, which is the last 25 years, the commercial property, which is the red color line, has actually grown in price by 121%. So where did I get this number from? So below you can see an average price and then bracket a growth rate of 121%. And for the blue color, there is a negative growth rate of 5%. So I actually captured the 95 prices and the 2020 prices. But of course, when you are using the tool itself, it is actually interactive. So you'll be able to mouse over every single year, or if you were in monthly or quarterly, every month or every quarter, you'll be able to see the breakdown for both price and volume as per what you toggle lah. Okay, so if you had invested in the last 25 years, chances are, looking at how the prices are, not looking at when you enter the market, it does seem that if you had purchased a commercial property, there's probably higher chance for you to earn money. Okay, because looking at the chart itself, it does seem that the industrial is pretty flat. Yeah, so of course, depending on when you enter, you may not make some money. But if you had entered long time ago and now you decide to let it go, okay, it's actually a negative 5%. Okay, so not really good news. And always when I generate charts, I like to link it to events that happen. It can be a global event, okay, or a regional or national event. So you can see here there's a couple of mega events that happened in the last 25 years. We have the Asian financial crisis, so that's more regional. And then we have .com. I think that affected more of the US side, right? Okay, and then we have SARS, definitely affected Singapore. Okay, global financial crisis, global. So that's international problem. Okay, and then of course 2010 until now. Okay, this rounds of cooling measures is more to do with on a local basis, right? Okay, because cooling measures by the government, okay, the actions that they do that in turn affect the property performance, okay, in terms of price, and as well as the volume. Okay, and then of course, most recently in the last 1 year, I think, happy birthday to COVID-19. It is 1 year already, and we are still pretty much we are probably in a better situation now, but not yet fully under control. Okay, so you can see all these events, and if you actually take a look at how the trend actually behaves in response to the events. Okay, so for example in 97, 98, so you can see over here, there was actually a bit of a fall for both office and industrial, slight fall over here. Okay, and then there may be some that didn't quite affect the market very much. For example, SARS, okay, 03, 04, end of 02 to 03, 04. You can see it's pretty much flat lah. Okay, maybe fell like 1 or 2%, but didn't quite affect very much. Okay, and then interestingly, you see that the global financial crisis in 07, 08, and then you see that there's suddenly a spike. Okay, so actually the financial crisis actually sort of did a good deed for the business space. Okay, both of office and industrial, but more for offices. Okay, and then of course the cooling measures sort of brought down the prices quite a bit. Okay, from about 2012 onwards, you can see that there's a stabilization of the prices. For industrial, still pretty much very flat. Okay, and then of course in 2019 to 2020, you can see that there's a slight fall from last year to this year. Of course, if you want to see the impact uh, in a more zoom in kind of effect, you can actually play around, okay, toggle to monthly and quarterly, and you can see how each month or each quarter affects. Okay, because it is so fresh in our mind now, it's probably easy for us to remember. Okay, when we were all stuck at home, I think that was in April, May. Okay, we had this circuit breaker that came in. Nobody could go out for quite a couple of months, and then Q2, Q3, okay, and then after that we open up to phase 1, phase 2. So when you actually zoom in, you can see how the different quarters behave also. So a lot of things you can actually try it on your own, okay, depending on what exactly you want to pick up from it, okay, from the charts. So right after this, I will show you a quick snapshot of volume, and then I will show you the trend itself, the market trends tool in EdgeProp itself, so that you can create your own charts with the exact filters that you want to look into. Okay, so this is for price. You can see that just an overview. Prices for commercial went up, industrial flat or even negative. Okay, so this is volume. Okay, and you can see that for volume wise, originally there were a lot more commercial transactions. Okay, about 60% versus 40% of industrial property transactions. And then over time, you can see it was quite obvious. I think in about 2010 to 2012, okay, there were a lot of industrial transactions then. Okay, and then after that, it slowly tapered down. But overall, in terms of the percentage breakdown, we are looking at a switch in the percentage. So from 60-40, it became more like 40-60, or in fact, it does seem more like a 30-70, okay, 33 versus 67. So that means not much commercial transactions. Okay, of course, if you want to further zoom in, we are looking at multiple kind of commercial. It is including your office, including your retail, okay, your shop and shop houses, as well as medical. Okay, so if you want to further zoom into the subtypes, you can do so. So let me just show you how it can be done right now. So what I'm gonna do is to toggle to the website right now. Okay, let me just toggle to the website right now, and oops, wrong screen. Hey, why does it show this one? Salah already. Okay, wait, let me just check this. Oh, where's this? Okay. Okay. Check this. Hmm. Okay, found it. Okay, so we are on the website right now, edgeprop.sg. Of course, do take note that for market trends, you can only access this particular tool via the website. Okay, so we do have a lot of tools, as you can see here. Let me just show you. So I'm on edgeprop.sg. Let me just go to our main page. Okay, so EdgeProp.sg, we have a lot of tools, like I said, for Pro Tools. So if you mouse over tools, you can see all the different tools here. But for market trends and maybe another one or two tools, they can only be found on the website. Okay, so for market trends, I'm going to show you the website, and I'm just going to click here. Do take note, even though it is housed under the free tools section, with a paid subscription, you will be able to have more access. Okay, it allows you to do comparison. It allows you to draw lines. Okay, what kind of lines am I drawing? Basically, if you want to find out the growth rate for both price and volume from a certain time period to another, we can actually draw additional lines. Okay, in addition, not just the overall time period growth rate, but from time period to time period, you can draw that as well. So I'll show that to you later. Okay, but so simply look over here. You can see that we have all the different filters here. Okay, you can actually generate individual price trend or volume, or you can generate up to 3 for you to do comparison. Okay, so you can do comparison by clicking on compare, or you can generate just one chart itself. So if let's say I am looking at, regardless whether it is commercial or industrial, if I'm looking at a particular project, I can actually do something like that. Okay, so I can select commercial, okay, for Lucky Plaza, or I can also say, if let's say it's industrial, okay, I can also select the correct one. Okay, so once you select a specific project, you'll notice that some of the fields will be sort of blacked out, okay, like the property type, district, and region, because we are just looking at a specific project. Okay, but of course you can still further zoom down to the tenure, okay, or the transaction type and the property size. Okay, but if let's say you're not looking at a specific project, okay, I'm going to click on reset filter here. So if let's say I'm not looking at a specific project and I want to know the overall performance of a certain tenure, okay, I can do that. Okay, certain property type or subtype. Okay, so you can see over here all the official property types and subtypes are listed here. We have the now that we're looking at commercial, okay, so we can have office, shophouses, and medical. And for industrial, it'll be factory and warehouse. Okay, so let's say I want to look at a trend for all commercial. Okay, you can also zoom into the particular district, okay, or region. So for commercial properties, okay, commercial industrial properties, there is only one option, which is to go by the district numbers or the regions in terms of central, okay, east, north, and northeast, as well as west region. Okay, only for your residential properties, you will have an option to actually go by the CCR, OCR, and RCR. That is under the alternative tab, which is currently blacked out if you select commercial. Okay, you can also zoom into the property transaction type. Okay, so are you looking at the developer sales, like your new sales only? Sub-sale, okay, that means haven't completion yet lah. Okay, and then you have your resale as well as rental trends as well, and then lastly you can generate trends based on a particular size. So if you want to know, is the bigger units doing better, as compared to the smaller ones. You can also do that. Okay, so we have some sizes indicated here already, but if you are looking at a specific size, you can even type it in. So if I know that, oh, this particular project, the size is 389 square feet, okay, I can actually type it in, okay, and select the drop down for what I've typed in. Okay, if not, you can just use the default sizes listed below. Okay, so I'm just going to do a very basic search here. So I just want to know, how does the commercial properties, how are they doing right now, okay, or should I say over a certain time period. Okay, and I'm going to leave all the other filters blank for now. But of course, if you wish to uh, put in multiple filters at one go, it is possible. Okay, just that make sure, if you do a lot of filters, you want to know, and you're trying to compare, you want to make sure that it's as apple to apple as possible, so that you know which particular filter could have affected the results that you are getting. Okay, so just very simple. I want a all commercial property. So you can see over here, results for, we have all commercial, all district, all sizes, all sale, all tenure. So it's just a very generic trend for commercial property. And by default, you will see that the time period is based on the last 3 years. Okay, of course, if you wish to make adjustments, you can do so. So if you remember just now, the trend that I showed you on the PowerPoint slide is from 1995. So there's a slider here, so you can pull both sliders, okay, both ends, to find the start and end date that you're looking at specifically. Okay, so over here you'll notice a bit different from what you see earlier. The prices are a lot of up and down, right? Very erratic. Okay, that is the reason why I actually opted to show you a yearly rather than a monthly. Okay, because usually monthly, it could be just nice this month there was a new launch, or just nice that particular month there was a unit with very big size, very small size, very high or very low per square foot. That can affect the prices very much, and in turn it will also affect how the growth rate works out to be. Okay, because why? When you're looking at the growth rate here, it is based on the very first point, okay, that you find on the chart, compared to the very last point here. So November, right? So first point would be January 1995 to November 2020. First point and second point here, right? So you can see, if just nice, if I had shifted 1 month before, you can see that, let's say, November, right? So let's say September to November, the price actually shot up by a lot, because just nice there could be some units that brought up the price very much. Okay, especially this one, I didn't select the district. Okay, I didn't select the district, so maybe the transactions in November were for very premium location. Okay, compared to one month ago, where the location was slightly different. Okay, maybe off core central region. So you can see that sometimes if you actually you refer to the monthly chart, it may not be very reflective of the current market condition, simply because the growth rate here is based on the first point to the last point. Okay, we didn't take into account the ups and downs that happen between the different months. So my recommendation, especially if you're not looking at a specific project, okay, please toggle to quarterly or yearly, and you will notice that the trend line, okay, did I click on it now? The trend line would tend to be less erratic. Okay, of course, in this case you can see, still pretty much alright, but still very extreme. You can see Q4, and then the next one it went down, and then went down again. So within 2 quarters, the price can be very different. Okay, so you can see here Q2 was 2274. Okay, and then Q4 is 3420. So it's a good, like 1,000 over per square foot difference, which probably wouldn't make much sense. Okay, it could be just that that particular transaction that happened in that month. Okay, so in this case, if you see that for quarterly there's still a lot of up and downs going on, my suggestion, use yearly. Okay, so as they combine the different months into quarters, into years, the line is more representative and more subtle, okay, in terms of the volatility of the line, okay, and it's a better representation of the market lah. So you can see here from last year to this year, yeah, okay, on average it's 2.7, and then it became from 2.8 it became about 2.7. Yeah, okay, it fell by about 100 plus. Still makes sense, right? As compared to 700-800 per square foot within a, a quarter or two. Okay, so my recommendation, use yearly, if not quarterly. Monthly only if you really want to know on a month-to-month basis, or you're zooming in on a certain time period. So if you remember earlier, if I wanted to zoom in on how the market changed during the COVID period, okay, then maybe I want to look at quarterly. Okay, so if we go back to quarterly, if you remember, okay, so when you go look at quarterly or when you look at monthly, you might want to see how uh, at that point in time how things were. Okay, so let me zoom to the more recent time period so that I can have a slightly fatter chart. Okay, looks nicer and easier to read also. Okay, so I can shift the time period here, and you can see that I think I can shift this more. Okay, so I'm Q4 to Q4 in the last 7 years, and you can see that for commercial property, so in the last 1 year, sometime around Q4, that was when COVID suddenly came into the picture, right? Okay, and then we had 3,225 total 200 over units, and then Q1 it fell, okay, fell a little bit. Price went down and the volume also went down, and Q2 was when we were hit very hard. Okay, that was when during the circuit breaker period. So you can see in this case prices went down, volume went down like more than half, from about 142 units it went down to 63, because everyone was in a state of shock, right? They don't know how to behave. People don't dare to make any movement also. Okay, and then good thing is in Q3 volume actually went up. Reason being, we ended in phase 2, right? Is phase 2 the one that we can go out? Oh my gosh, I can't remember, but yeah. So once we were able to do physical viewings, the volume rebounded back. Okay, may not be as good as Q1. Okay, 142 versus 126, just 10 over units difference. Okay, so that's quite good news. And the price also shot back up to Q1 level. Okay, from 2728. After that, it became 2712, which is pretty much there. Okay, and this month, very interesting. While the volume has gone down again, okay, of course we have not completed the final quarter yet. Do take note, okay. November, we are still in the last month, last week, and then December is not in yet. Okay, so it's still hard to say how things are gonna be for Q4. Okay, volume wise, we still have another month to go. Okay, and then but price seems to have shot up quite a bit. Okay, price actually went up from 2.7, it went up to 3.4. So sometimes if you see a very big spike, you might want to double check, how come such a price difference. It could be a specific project that push up the per square foot prices. Okay, so what you can do is to click on either the line, okay, the price line, or the volume bar. Okay, doesn't matter. If I click on it, okay, I would actually be able to see the transactions that actually cause the spike in a way. Okay, so over here I noticed that so by default we would have the project with the highest number of transactions on the top. Okay, So you can see it is in descending order for number of transactions, and we have all the other fields like the district, the project name, tenure, transaction value, and prices. Okay. If you wish to do sorting based on any of the other headers here, you can do so. Okay, you just need to click on it, and then it will be sorted accordingly. So let's say I click on postal district, it's 28, or you can choose from 1. Okay, so from 1 to 28 or 28 to 1. Okay, or I can just go back to transactions as well. So you can see that the triangle will be highlighted to see whether it's in ascending order or descending order. Okay, so it is also possible for you to further drill down. So if let's say I would like to understand a little bit more about this 10 transactions in Centrum Square, okay, I'm just going to click on this, the first row, and you can see that for Centrum Square, it is quite interesting. Most of the units, okay, let me see. So for the whole year, there were quite a number of transactions in Centrum Square, okay, and then you can see the kind of prices here. So nothing very odd lah, looking at this, okay. So price is about 2,000 plus per square foot, depending on the size, okay, and then you can see all the unit numbers. So full details can be found here, okay, including the tenure, is it new sale, sub-sale, resale, whether it is strata or landed, the per square foot and the quantum. Okay, full information here. Okay, and then of course, you'll notice, why got some is NA? Okay, why? Let's click in to see why. Okay, so it seems that over here we are looking at shophouses. Okay, so shophouses don't have project names, right? So therefore, it's showing as NA. But when you click on it, you can see the different address. So how did we actually classify all the different NAs are not applicable? Is by the district. Okay, so you can see I have not applicable in District 14. I also have a not applicable in District 15. Okay, so likely all those that are indicated as not applicable would be your shophouses, which or basically properties with no project name. Okay, they don't belong to a particular project. Okay. Okay. So just now I did mention you can also draw lines. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, let's say over here, okay, based on this particular chart that you're seeing right now, the growth rate is negative 9%, right? So you can see from below, negative 9, and that is from Q4 2013, which is over here, Q4 2013, all the way to today, Q4 2020. Okay, so you can see that from 3,741 per square foot, it is now 3,420. So in total, 3,7 to 3,4, there's a drop of about 300 per square foot, which works out to be the growth rate of negative 9%. Okay, but maybe, okay, what I want to know is not just for this 7 years gap, but rather I would like to know, okay, in the last 5 years, okay, maybe from 2015 onwards, 2015 let's do Q4 lah. Now we're in Q4. Okay, so Q4 2015 to Q4 2020, what is the growth rate, be it positive or negative? So what I can do here is there's a pencil tool here, so I can click on it, and I'd like to find out the growth rate for price. Okay, so I'm going to click on average price here, and from Q4 2015, Q4 2015, is it this one or this one? This one, yeah, this one. Okay, so I'm going to click, you can see the dot here, and I'm going to click on the second dot. Okay, and you can see that actually if you're looking at the last 5 years, the growth rate is actually 1% only. Okay, negative 1%. As compared to last 7 years, it was negative 9%. Okay, you can do the same thing for volume as well. So the orange line is your price, and the blue color bars is actually your volume. So if I want to know the growth or drop in the volume, I just need to select volume. Okay, so let's say from the same time period, I'll make it easy. Same time period, and this one here. Okay, so now you will notice that the dot where we start will be on top of the volume bar. Okay, so you can see that there's actually a fall. So originally in Q4 2015 there were 139 units that was transacted, and today, of course, not completed Q4 yet, it is 68, so therefore there was a fall. Okay, but that being said, usually we wouldn't do such a comparison because the quarter is not complete yet. Okay, now another thing for you guys to take note is that when you are drawing all these lines, the direction in which you draw the line matters. That means your selection of point A to point B or point B to point A makes a difference. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let me just delete these two existing lines. So I just need to click on the cross beside the percentage, okay, to delete the line. So maximum I can have 3 lines. Okay, so I'm going to draw another line, but this time round I'm going to draw from quarter 4 2020 to quarter this one 2015, okay, quarter 4 of 2015. So it's the same line, but now it's in the opposite direction. So you'll notice now, if you look in this manner, actually there is a positive rather than a negative 1%. Okay, of course, in terms of percentage wise, we will round up. So sometimes you may see 1 or 0, depending on the actual figure. Okay, but pretty much it's quite close. 3420 to 3447, less than a percent. That's why we are showing you a plus 0%. But at least it is a positive as compared to a negative 0. Okay, so these are things that you can do to look at the chart from different perspective, from different time period. Okay, same time period, but from which point to which point, it matters as well. Okay, and you can also actually type in different put in different text bars. Okay, a total of 3 texts is allowed at within one chart. So let's say this is commercial, right? Okay, and then this is 2013 to 2020. Okay, so you can do something like that to describe the overall chart, or you can also have different ones. Maybe you can say that, okay, price fell by how much to how much. You can then have one more box to talk about the volume. Okay, or if you're doing comparison, you can actually indicate what each line means. Okay, because sometimes if not, you would have to refer to the color coding. Okay, so this is basically having one price slash volume trend in one chart. Okay, so if you wish to download the individual chart, you just need to click over here, and you can choose to have it in a image format or PDF. And of course, if you wish to have it in per square foot, okay, you can just so what am I talking about? If you wish to actually have it shared, okay, you want it in a link format, okay, you can click on the copy to clipboard or share on Facebook. Oh dear. Okay, now what actually makes market trend more useful is actually when you do comparison. Okay, so that's why it is important for you to sign up for Pro Tools, because only with Pro Tools you can draw your lines, you can put in the text boxes, and you can do comparison. Why is comparison important? Because when you benchmark something against another, it would help you make decisions. Okay, or it can help you help your buyers or sellers make decisions on where to buy. Okay, so make decision on what kind of tenure they should consider, what kind of property type or subtype they should be looking at, which area or region should they go for new launch or resale, and as well as what kind of size should they be looking at. Okay, only when you do comparison, then you'll be able to tell exactly which is better than the other, right? Okay, so if you remember the very first chart that I created, okay, with my PowerPoint slide, I did a comparison between commercial versus industrial. Of course, I can do subtypes as well, okay, but just a generic one, commercial versus industrial. Okay, so you can see compare with property 2, I'm going to select industrial, okay, and I'm leaving all the other filters the same, just so that we can immediately just identify that the difference is really just the property type. Of course, like I mentioned, if you wish to put in multiple filters at the same time, it is possible. Okay, so I can actually compare up to 3. So you can see compare with property 1 and compare with property 2. But as of now, I'll just like to compare two charts. Okay, so I'm going to click on compare properties, and you can see under results for, I have a results for commercial in red and results for industrial in blue. Okay, by default it'll be in monthly, but if let's say, like I said, so erratic, right? So I prefer to use yearly, okay, whenever possible. You can see how the trend line is. Okay, so if you remember earlier on, it was 1995 to 2020. This is the more recent one. Okay, if I zoom into 2013 to 2020, so in the last 7 years, okay, actually in terms of growth rate, you can see that they are quite close, just a 4% difference, but both actually going downwards. Okay, both office and shop houses are not exactly earning money. Okay, in terms of prices, it's falling. If I toggle to volume, okay, so same thing, you can mouse over, you can see in 2013, wow, the volume was like 2.4, 2.8. Okay, and the percentage is also different. So if you remember earlier on, I showed you from 95 onwards, and then there was difference also. Okay, and then if I compare to today, okay, from 2K plus transaction every on a yearly basis, it fell to 1K plus, and then suddenly it became in the hundreds. Okay, and then for this year, it is about 400 versus 800. Okay, so 33% versus 67%. Okay, so you can actually click on either or. If you want to just show one of the volume, you can do so also. Okay, so you can play with the legend a little bit. Okay, so this allows you basically, let me go back to price. So if I go back to price, looking at this, which one should I buy? It seems that, okay, even though very close, it seems that the industrial would hold slightly better than the office. Okay, but if I had gone back earlier to the long time ago, actually office did better. So it really depends on when you come into the market, okay, because this growth rate is always based on first point to last point. Okay, so if I had wanted to know the growth rate from say 2009 all the way to the peak in 2013, what do? I use the pencil tool. Okay, now because once we are doing comparison, do note we have price and volume separated. So immediately this is for price. Okay, first point to last point, and I can see that, wow, within 4 years, okay, 2019 to 2009 to 2013, the prices shot up by 140%. Thereafter, it seems that the cooling measures started to kick in, followed by COVID. Okay, so try and relate to what kind of cooling measures came into play. So if I remember, okay, the good thing, so you have industrial, which was affected by the SSD. Okay, so they changed the SSD a couple of times. I think was 8. Can't remember the exact number. But then after that they actually revise it to be a slightly shorter term, okay. And for commercial, not really affected by, I mean, commercial and retail didn't have SSD, yet how come the prices went down? Okay, so another thing also you might want to link to, like, say, the supply that was involved, as well as the vacancy rate. So there's other things to consider. Okay, from what I remember, there around this time period where there was a spike, at that point in time, there were a lot of, because we're looking at commercial here, so there were also quite a number of strata title retail that came into the picture. So you remember at that point in time, there were new launches which have strata titled retail. Example, say Novena, what is it called? Novena. Yeah, suddenly forget the name. Okay, but you have retail there, and then you have Midtown. All of these have your little retail shops, about 300 to 500 square feet, that was sold to the different buyers. Okay, because the thing about retail is that there's always those that were owned by the big companies, big developers and management. Okay, so retail, I mean, if we look at town area, okay, Ion belongs to Capital Land and all that, and then you have Frasers for the Center Point and all that, which they don't actually sell their units. Okay, so do take note here when we are looking at commercial, and specifically if you're looking at retail, the shops would not actually would not actually include those that belong to individual owners, okay, as in the big companies that own the whole building, like. Okay, so what we are looking at here is the strata titled units, be it for office or retail. So if you look at places like International Plaza, if you look at Lucky Plaza, Far East, all these are strata titled. Okay, as compared to, say, Center Point or your town area or your office building. Okay, all those are usually owned by one management. Okay, so really depends. Of course, do take note, this is only for strata title. Okay, so of course, same thing. If you want to see, hey, there was a spike, let's see what were the transactions that make up this spike in prices. You can always click on it, so you can see that, okay, at that point in time we have 185 transactions from SBF Center. Now I remember SBF Center has a lot. They have offices and medical. So medical actually definitely brought up the per square foot. So sometimes if you're not too sure, what could have caused the spike or the drop, okay, try and click on it further to see what made up which are the transactions that made up this increase or decrease in price and or volume. Okay, so in this case, we have SBF Center with a total of 185 units, and you can click on it further. You'll be able to tell, which unit and what type is it. So you can see you have offices, and I'm very sure they have medical. Yeah, so they have medical, and all these are new sales. Okay, so this was a new building that they actually, I think it was en bloc, and then they redo it, okay, and resold the units on a strata title basis. So, with the injection of this brand new building in town, that definitely brought up the prices. But so this is like the supply that brought up prices, and then of course, you don't always have new buildings that come into play, right? Especially in the CBD area. So that eventually could have caused the fall. So if you're not even looking at the SBF, maybe the increase wouldn't be so much. Okay, maybe it will be more subtle. So it is important to look at, from year to year or period to time period, to see what could have caused all these spike or fall in prices. Okay. Okay. So there is also, since we are able to do a comparison of three, let me just try something to show you guys lah. Okay, so we have one more. So let me say, let's compare subtypes. Okay, so I'm just going to reset the filter. Okay, and let's compare, say, commercial office versus shop and shop houses, and versus the last one, medical. Okay, so you can see the further breakdown. Of course, obviously for medical, the per square foot would be a lot higher than, say, office. Okay, of course you can compare other things as well. If let's say you want to know, does it matter whether freehold or leasehold for your commercial space? Okay, you can try comparing by tenure. Or if you have clients who are considering different locations, you can compare, do a comparison based on location. And then of course, should I buy new launch or should I buy resale, and what kind of sizes? So there's a lot of ways you can do comparison. It really depends on what your client is asking you. Okay, so this is just comparing the subtypes. Okay, so you can see over here, I have office, shops, and shop houses together, followed by medical, and I left everything else the same. Okay, so same thing, monthly would be a lot of up and down, and I prefer to use yearly. Okay, so the line would be a lot more subtle, not so erratic. Okay, so if based on this time period, 95 to 2020, the best investment would probably be dark blue, which is medical. Okay, so you can refer to the color coding and the fields that you put in. Okay, so if I had invested in medical, I would earn more money. And then of course, office versus shop house. Office versus shop/shop house. Shop house is doing, the shops are doing better than investing in office. Okay. And volume wise, same thing, you can toggle. Mostly are actually shops and shop houses. So even though we say that, the medicals are earning a lot more if you had invested in medical, but there's actually very limited supply in the market. Okay, new ones in the market, you have SBF, you have the connection at Farrer Park, I think, Mount E Novena. Okay, and then most of the rest are just from your old hospitals, old clinics that definitely brought up the price because there's really not much supply in the market. Okay, so we try another one, which is industrial. Okay, so I'm just gonna reset all. Okay, and we can try in factory versus warehouse. So this is one thing that I want to show you guys, because all along I thought all along I thought that factory and warehouse, what exactly is the difference, right? Sometimes it's very gray. Of course, in terms of definition, factory is when you create stuff, right? And then warehouse is more for storage. Okay, but if you do a comparison, okay, you notice that the price, let me go to yearly. Did I put the correct one? Factory versus warehouse. Versus warehouse. Okay, I think I reset out better. Too many filters, confusing. Yeah, let me refresh this. Okay, I see some question. Okay, just one actually. Any reason why industrial property never grow? Okay, so you need to look at the, other than price and volume, okay, you also need to look at the supply and the take-up rate, right? So whether the market requires the space or not. Okay, so whenever you're looking at, how come something like that, you might want to check, is there any government policies that don't actually encourage. So I think for industrial, the thing is that so the reason why office, I mean, Singapore is still more of a business hub. For industrial, of course, you include the business space, the business parts, okay, but I think we're still not that much of a place for storage and factory. It's just like how your farms and your hydroponic is not the key business uh, direction that the government is going at. Of course, it might change. It might change. So try and relate to the government move, like actions, lah. Okay. Okay. So this is what did I do just now? Okay. Later, I will show you guys a little bit on the vacancy rates. Maybe that would help to understand that question also. Okay, so just now I did factory, and I want to compare with what's the other one? Warehouse. Okay, compare. Okay, so you see there's a spike. Yeah, sometimes the spike could be due to a specific project launch. So like I say, I prefer to use yearly. Okay, and if there's a spike, sometimes it could also be because of bulk purchases. Okay, so it may not exactly be accurate in a way. Why do I say so? Let me just show you this example. So all in all, if you see a very extreme spike, usually I don't recommend taking that into account because that could be more likely an outlier. Okay, but overall, between the factories and the warehouses, pretty much the same, negative 20, negative 21. Okay, if we look at long run, 3% versus negative 11. Okay, so your factories is the red one, 3%. Negative 11 is your warehouse. So how do we interpret this? Let me just toggle back to the slides. Okay, this one. Oops, wait. So let me go back to my slides. Okay, so this is volume just now. And let's look at the vacancy. Okay, so just now using market trends, you'll be able to see price and volume, right? Price trend and volume in terms of sales transaction volume. Okay, but you also want to see how the spaces are being taken up. So this is for office in the last 10 years, 2011 all the way until now. And I think, if you want to zoom into a certain time period, you same thing, remember to link back to whatever might have happened at that point in time. But we look at something more recent, which is your COVID. Okay, so some things that have changed our lives. We now, most of us, we have flexible work arrangement, work from home, even for myself. Half 1 week in office, 1 week at home. So you see my background, sometimes it's this stripy background, and then the other one is my home wallpaper. Okay, and then we have the downsizing of the existing size of the workplace. That's quite common because companies, at least for now, okay, they can't have full force of the sales of their staff reporting to office. So why should they actually take up such a big space, right? When only 50% can come down. Okay, so that's where the companies actually consider other alternative. Okay, so they either downsize their existing office, or they can choose, say, co-working spaces. Okay, so places like WeWork, Justco, quite all the new people who came into the picture a couple of years back. Okay, and then there's also cost saving, trying to move away from the CBD. So if you further zoom down to the location, you might notice that town area, central region, there's more people leaving the space. Just like my current company now, okay, just like EdgeProp, we actually shifted out of town area. So you can see in terms of the very last quarter here in 2020, Q2 to Q3, there is a slight fall. Okay, but overall, if you want to look at vacancy, do take note that it is not a good thing to have 0%, to have sort of zero vacancy. Okay, and neither is it good to have a lot of vacancy. There should be a very natural, there's this thing that we call the natural vacancy rate. It's not a fixated number, just that at that point of vacancy, it is a very comfortable. That means there's options for people looking for a place, but it's not so many empty spaces that prices would fall or increase by a lot. Okay, so there's some form of an equilibrium pricing, which if you ask me, I would say is about 10 to 12%. That's a comfortable rate. So as of now, even with the new trends coming in, we are still pretty much in a very safe uh, zone, okay, for the vacancy. Okay, right now we are about 12. So anything between 10 to 12 should be all right lah. Okay. This is for retail. Okay, so those of you shopaholics like me, so you can see that for retail, over time the trend has been, the vacancy has gone up. Okay, of course the natural vacancy rate for this would be slightly different from office. Okay, but if you look at it, it's just trending upwards. So maybe not so healthy, and that can definitely, if you link to your daily life now, most of us shop online, right? And sometimes even for me, I'm so lazy to go down to town to shop anymore. So everything can buy online or buy from your neighborhood store. Okay, so that's why sometimes doesn't mean that you're in a prime location, say Orchard Road. Business would be better than if you're in a neighborhood shopping mall. Because I remember last time I was working for one of the developers so they have this mall in town area, and then the tenant, okay, the tenant is a food restaurant kind of tenant. They're like, wow, my business here is worse than my business in the suburban area. Okay, and yet they are paying more rental to be in town. Okay, so that's something quite interesting. So unlike residential, town area per square foot higher, you can command better rental. For retail, actually, as a business perspective, it's actually better now to be in those suburban area than town area. Of course, it depends lah what kind of business you are in. If you are if you're doing luxury goods, of course you can't be selling LV in like Campus One, right? Right. So of course there's different kind of businesses. Okay. Then of course we just saw the downfall of Robinsons. Okay, I still owe a lot of people money. But other than that, you also see that the departmental stores are closing down. May not be entirely, but they have their different outlets. Maybe they reduce from 3 become 1, that kind of thing. Same thing for Metro Isetan. Sasa is totally out of the picture, if you remember. And then most recently, Topshop, I think Dorothy Perkins, some of the fashion wear, okay, is out of the picture. And then, so they actually went online for Topshop. And then the newer trends is that as we start to work from home, we start to buy food through delivery. Okay, and then you also notice that last time we had a lot more of those sit down restaurant, cafe kind of space. But now the new trend is, sometimes you go down, maybe let's say B1 of the shopping mall, you have all the different food kiosks where you don't have place to sit down. It's really more for tapao. Okay, so you have your wok hei, your boost, your pezzo, your bubble tea, you have your Old Chang Kee, all these kind of things don't need so much space. No, you just need a little booth to prepare the food. There's no need to take up the space for eating. Okay, so this is all the things you can always relate to our day-to-day life, and you notice that yeah, it makes sense. Doreen, unfortunately, you won't be able to generate this from EdgeProp. Okay, this is actually taken from URA, and then the numbers, and I've actually converted it into the chart. So this one, if you guys want the PowerPoint slides, okay, I'll have the link ready by the end of today, and then you'll be able to get them from your account managers. Okay. Okay, so this is another tool. Okay, this is again market trends, but you notice that it looks a little bit different. So I also wanted to share that other than EdgeProp market trends, we actually have square foot market trends. So what is the difference? Firstly, it is supposed to be the same lah. Okay, why am I showing you this? Is because some of you might not know that EdgeProp bought over square foot some time back, and of course the new EdgeProp market trends, you'll be able to do comparison, but for square foot, no comparison, just a fixed price and volume trend in one chart. Okay, so when you sign up with us, you'll get both EdgeProp and square foot. Okay, this is a good alternative. Sometimes if one is under maintenance, you can still use the other lah. Okay, but for now, this one you can only look at it from a month-to-month basis. So this is monthly, so you can't use yearly or quarterly. Okay, but maybe if you like to zoom in, if you like to understand like the more recent situation in during COVID. Okay, so there was in terms of rental. So if you remember just now, we were looking at price and volume. Okay, but these are all for sales transactions, right? Okay, so you can also toggle to a rental trend, and you'll notice that in the more recent couple of months or quarters, okay, for warehouses, okay, because you all buy everything online, right? And then there's also those situation because it is a pandemic, from country to country, logistics wise, there's more need for storage. So that actually brought up the prices a little bit in the last couple of months. Okay, so you can see this is rental for industrial. Okay, so even though prices are pretty much flat, you can also look at rental. Sometimes your clients are more what they're more concerned of is, can I get rental or not? Okay, some of them are looking more at capital gain. So depending on what you're looking at. So if you look at the rental trends, there is actually an increase in rental because lately, okay, we need more space to keep all these different supplies. Remember, we were rushing to buy all the toilet roll and all the different stuff. So logistically wise, whatever that can be kept in all these warehouses would also bring up the rental market for industrial. Okay, so increased stockpiling requirements because there's all the safety concerns, movement concerns from country to country. Yeah, so that's something you can link to the current situation also. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, we're left with the last 15 minutes. I very low so one. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to toggle back to the website. Okay, let me toggle back to the website, and I'm going to show you some other tools that you can use to generate information with regards to commercial industrial. Okay, so it's not just market trends itself. Market trends really is, you need to learn how to to analyze the increase and the fall, okay? But when you are looking at if you want, immediate information on a specific project, okay, or address, you can actually use some other tools that we have. I will start off with Inspector, okay. So Inspector wise, you can use it for all property types. Different property types that you key in, you will get different kind of information. So if let's say I am looking at shophouses, okay, so I'll start off with shophouses first. So let's say I'm looking at this particular shop house. I need to key in the address down to the house number, okay. In this case, 51 Haji Lane is part of the Kampong Glam Conservation Area. So over here, you can see that, okay, let's wait. Okay, so you can see we have research. So it zooms into this particular plot of land, and we drag this over. So you can see it's highlighted here. There's the, what's that thing called? The land dimensions are listed here. Okay, we have things like the lot number, master plan zoning, land area. For research, this is basically your home report section. So if you're looking at a shop house, you will have to click on the one for commercial. Okay, so we have one for the conservation area and one for the street. Okay, so you can see sometimes you also have tower view, but in this case we are looking at the shop house. So you can see that the latest sales in the Kampong Glam Conservation Area is here. And then for this number 51 Haji Lane, which is the address I keyed in, what is the approved and allowable use? So right now I know that, okay, on the first floor, the approval is given for restaurant. Second floor is for gym and fitness center. And in this case, both expiry is NA. Okay, so that means this is the permanent usage. Sometimes you will see that there is an expiry date. So for example, if let's say this one expiry is now is December, right? Okay, 31st December 2020. So if somebody wants to take over the place and continue as gym, they will need to reapply for the change of use. Okay, and usually it is a 1 year approval. So thereafter, right, they will have to change again. So there's a temporary change of use. Okay, and it is not 100%. If you see an expiry date, it's not 100% that it will be approved. Just that there's a high chance lah. Okay, and then we have the allowable use. You can see the green, yellow, and red to indicate the usage. Okay, so like your traffic light, green is good to go, yellow you have to submit for approval, submit to URA for approval, and red color you can't have such activities in this premise. So in this case, I can't do industrial in a shop house for sure lah. Okay, and then below we have the planning decision. So whatever the contractor or developer submit to URA for approval, you'll be able to see it here. So you can see looking from 10 November onwards, 10 November 2005, actually there was a change of use from shop to cafe on the first floor, and then after that, second floor, from office to fitness center. Okay, and then somebody actually came in to do a beauty salon, okay, 2018, and then they continued business for another year. So there's an extension of temporary permit for beauty salon. Okay, but it seems that in June 2020, this year, the beauty salon either move away or they told you. Okay, so therefore, it reverted back to the original permanent usage of gym fitness center. Okay, so you can see the full record here. Now, if I had done a search for other kind of properties, let's say Vertex, okay, which is a B1 industrial, okay, so you would see that the kind of information that appears would be something like that. Okay, so you can see the latest sales, okay, and you can see the planning decision. So for planning decision for a B1 industrial with multiple strata units, you'll be able to tell which unit number changed to what use. Most of it would be change of use. You can see here, extension of temporary permit or just a change of use. Okay, for what purpose will be stated here. Okay, in most cases you will see written permission, but there will be cases you will see something like this called notice of refusal. So that means to say this person wanted to change it to a canteen, it failed. So if you do have a client who also intend to do a canteen, right, and then they are looking at advertise, hey, you don't know can or not, looking at it, since somebody got refused already, there's a high chance that it will be refused again. Okay, so same thing. If you want to do retail, seems like cannot. Okay, so you can see over here, before deciding whether you want to proceed with the change of use application or not, because it takes a lot of time and quite a bit of money, if I remember not. Okay, so we did shop house, we did industrial. Let me show you, let's say shopping mall. Okay, shopping mall will be pretty much the same. Click wrongly. Okay, so let's say we're looking at Lucky Plaza. Okay, retail would show you pretty much the same thing. Okay, which unit change to what purpose? To restaurant, massage, karaoke. Okay, and then if let's say I had keyed in SDS center. Okay, you will also see that the breakdown is over here. So which unit change from medical clinic to office? Okay, okay, so that's the record here. So another way is to go to research directly. So if let's say you're looking for the home report, the property report for a specific project, okay, so you can select either commercial or industrial. So let's say commercial would be, let's try SBS Center. Okay, click on the drop down. So what kind of info can you get here? You'll be able to see basically a project fact sheet. Okay, that's one. Okay, project fact sheet, all the indicative, when was it completed, what's the average PSF and all that. So they will break down into the different subtypes if there is. Okay, price trend still loading. Did I click wrongly already? Okay, go back to dashboard. So dashboard is the default with the project fact sheet, the trends. Okay, so when you mouse over, you'll see the breakdown, the individual transaction record. Okay, so we have for medical and office here, different color. Okay, you can see the individual date and unit number. And then we also have the triangle, which is the current asking. So some people are selling now. And then there is also a polynomial trend lines, which is more statistical, but the idea is to predict whether prices are going up or down. Okay, if you want to download individual chart, you can do so. If you want to have any form of interaction to include or remove certain section, you can. Okay, we also have the monthly price range and volume. Okay, so volume would be the bar below. So you can see in recent years, not much transaction except for when it was first launched. And then the price wise, if you see that there's a light blue shaded area, that means there's a minimum maximum per square foot, because there's more than one transaction that happened in that month. Okay, same thing, you can choose to include or remove, and you can download individual charts. Okay, other parts of the report include location amenities, what's nearby, all these. Okay, sales transaction. Okay, we also identify the units that make profit or loss. Okay, so if you're looking at profitable and unprofitable, you'll be able to see when they bought on, when they sold it. Okay, and then they bought what kind of price per square foot, 2.8, sell at 2.9. Overall, make how much profit, hold on the unit for how long, and on an annualized capital gain basis, okay, on a yearly basis, what kind of capital gain were they looking at. Okay, And same thing for unprofitable. So that means they bought at a more expensive price lah. Okay, and then we also have rental. Do take note for rental. We do not zoom in. We do not have info for a specific project. It is the average rental or median rental plus minus for the street. Okay, so you can see over here we have the median right in the center. Of course, you can you can use this as a guide to work out the kind of rental that you can get for a specific project. Of course, you need to take into account different things lah. So example, this is a you have medical, you have office. Office usually higher floor per square foot should be higher, right? Because nicer view. Okay, but if let's say you're looking at medical or retail, you want to be nearer to the first floor. Okay, because it's more accessible, more traffic. Okay, retail, medical, all these you would want to be nearer to traffic. Okay, then other things to consider would be like frontage. Okay, whether you are near the footpath. Okay, so if let's say you're near escalator, it's better than if you are in the corner of the project where people don't walk past. So all these things will actually be able to help you decide, should this unit that I'm looking at, should I base on the median, the 25th or the lowest rental, or 75 or highest rental. Okay, so from there just multiply by the size of the unit that you are looking at specifically. Okay, then we also have nearby properties. We will look at the nearby projects and their performance in the last 6 months. Okay, so you can see distance here will be distance away from the SBF center. Okay, and then all these prices and rental, you can see here, it is based on last 6 months. Okay, and the rental will be more of based on street for commercial, industrial property. Okay, lastly, we have asking. So seems like nobody is selling right now. Okay, so we also link to tower view, which is the diagrammatic chart. So if your building has floors and stacks, you can click on tower view. If you want to have all these things that we looked at just now in a PDF document, you can select PDF. Let me show you how it looks like. And yeah, so that's pretty much for research. Okay. So while it's loading, let me just show you tower view. Okay, so this is tower 160 for SBF Center. Okay, so SBF Center is a commercial, right? Commercial property. So you can see that how do you read all these basically is that the latest transaction would show up in the grid. So most of them actually bought during the launch period in 2013, and seems like nobody resold it. Okay, but if there was any recent transaction, you will be able to see that it's highlighted in bold. Okay, so let me just show you something else. Another project. Let's look at Vertex so you can see the difference. So Vertex is industrial. Definitely there's recent resale. Okay, so how do I identify the recent resale? It will be highlighted in bold. So this is a transaction that happened in the last 6 months. Okay, 0807. Now another thing is when you compare commercial and industrial, you'll be able to use this thing called mark to fair value with SSD. So fair value is basically linking the current price, the price that they paid versus the current indicative valuation to work out whether if they were to sell this unit today, will they make a profit or loss. This is an indicative valuation based on a direct comparison method, which is basically based on recent transaction of similar property. Okay, and so you can see whether they make a profit or loss if they sell today. So for industrial only, okay, or commercial, so commercial don't have for industrial only, there will be this one more called mark to fair value with SSD, which allows you to see the estimated seller stamp duty as well. So you can see SSD $0, okay, over here, and then let me find one with, okay, So if you look at 0504, 0504, the SSD is 180 because they bought the unit within the last 3 years. So if they sell today, they will have to pay a seller's stamp duty. Okay, so you can click on it, any of all these grids, to see the number of times it was caveated for. Okay, so if there's any history for the unit, you'll be able to see. Okay, so basically the whole idea is for you to identify units that are making money, so that you can reach out to those units to say, hi, do you want to sell? If you sell today, you can make about this amount of money today. Okay, and then in conjunction with, let's say, market trends, you can say that, you shouldn't wait further. Looks like the prices are not going to come up anytime soon. Why don't you invest elsewhere? Okay, then you can ask them to cash out and then invest in, let's say, Resi, which is increasing in prices recently. Okay, so that's something that you can work with using the different tools that you have with you. Okay, of course, do take note, all this profit and loss is indicative, and it does not include the different transaction costs that might be incurred. So agent fees or your ABSD, all these are not accounted for. Okay, so if you see someone who sort of make a profit of 1,000, likely still making a loss, because stamp duty alone, ABSD alone, or the standard buyer stamp duty already costs more than 1,000. Okay, of course you can play around with all these filters to further zoom down if you only want to look at a certain time period or size. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. Overrun by a good 5 minutes. Okay, if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the live chat. For the PowerPoint slides, I will pass them to my account managers by the end of the day, so that you guys can download them and then, of course, play around the system. At the end of the day, the whole idea is for you guys to customize the charts and the reports based on what your client has in mind, okay, so they can answer the kind of questions they have for you. Okay, so other than that, maybe just to let you guys know, there are other tools that you can use as well. Location scan, shortlist, compare, all these you can also use for commercial industrial. So you can scan the surrounding to see the commercial industrial in the vicinity. Okay, or so that's for location scan. Or you can use shortlist if you want to look for all these commercial industrial properties within a certain district. Okay, and then you can do comparison also. Yeah, so with that, I will end today's session. If you have any more questions, you can also check with your account managers. They will be able to assist you with them as well. Okay, so just end with today's promo, or should I say the promo to the end of this year. Okay, so thank you everyone. Goodbye.